this next news story. It's wild that this is even a thing, but here we go. California law makes change to how digital stores sell games. This is from Game Rant, written by Sarah Fields. The governor of California has signed a bill into law that will require businesses to make a change to how digital purchases of games work. The bill should help improve clarity on exactly what a customer is buying when they quote unquote purchase a game on digital storefront. Many gamers have expressed frustration in recent times due to the way the ownership of digital games have been handled. At this point in time, game platforms can potentially remove a game from a player's account and get rid of the ability to download it at any time, regardless of whether it was purchased or not. This is in addition to recent game shutdowns where customers can no longer play a game they purchased regardless of the software on their own system. Now the bill AB 2426, which covers consumer protection, false advertising, and digital goods, has been signed into law by California Governor Newsom. The bill is essentially in addition to an existing law in California that made it illegal to do business or advertise to customers in California with misleading or false claims. This bill will build upon that, setting up strict rules that prohibit sellers from using terms like buy or purchase unless specific rules are followed. Essentially, the law just makes it so they have to be very clear you're just buying a license, and it could be lost at any time. The reason I wanted to bring this up, because it just, you tweeted about it, and I had a similar sentiment. Like, we knew this, right? Like, or are there actually dummies out there who thought, like, when I buy it, I own it, right? Like, I don't. I mean, I'm not saying it should be that way, but I'm just saying this. It
is what it is.
There's no, like, this isn't. I've never bought a digital game. New. I never bought a digital game and thought like, yes, this is mine. This is mine for the rest of my life. Like, I knew as soon as like I buy the next console or what X, Y, or Z, like it'll disappear one day, right? Like, obviously, my kids aren't going to inherit my digital game collection most likely. Like, it's going to disappear. So it just seems weird that we need a law to specify this. Like, was it really that confusing to people? I don't know.
This has been a thing since software has been around, to where, just like you just said, when you buy a game, you are not buying that code, that IP, anything related to the actual game itself. All you are buying is the ability to access and interact with the code. You don't own the code, the ones and zeros. You don't own anything about the game. They just basically gave you a key to open the door and go and experience it, which is fine with me. I, as a digital consumer, understand that I do not own the game. I pay for access to, I pay for a license to access the content and interact with the content. But for me as a player, that's fine, because I'm not necessarily in it to own the game. I am paying to experience it. I am paying for the experience. Just like when you go to a theme park, you don't pay for it and then expect to own the roller coaster. No, I'm paying for the experience of going on the roller coaster. And if I get to go again, with my ticket, if I get to go a few more times, that's fantastic. But I know what I'm paying for is the experience, is the ride. And that's how I've always felt about digital games.
And to be clear too, because I know people are going to come at us in the comments, at least for me personally, and I assume for you, that's not the way we want it to be. It would be nice if once I buy it, we own it outright. I just want to be very clear.
Absolutely.
Like, don't come at us and say we're like bootlickers or whatever. Like, no, I would prefer to own my game. But
in the way that the market is right now and has been, it's always been like that. You never have owned IP. You have never owned code. Whether you bought it from Steam, whether you bought it from a console marketplace, whether you bought it from pretty much even the ones that sell you the ones that are DRM free, that's still not your code. That's still not your IP. You are still buying a license. It's in the EULA for every single piece of software, not just games. Right. That's why they call it the end user license agreement.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even technically, when you bought physical disc copies, like there was physical disc copies, you fire it up and it has the EULA in there. And even though, like, all right, you have that disc, and that disc could potentially is essentially just a key, especially in more modern days. Obviously, back in the day, the full game was on there, and so, but even then, like there was still EULAs around, like you were still licensing that copy of the disc.
Right.
But like, and it's just basically in more modern times, they're actually like acting. They're finally acting on what they've been saying all along, where it's like, no, we are really just giving you a license. That's always been the case. It's just, fortunately, we were able to, with physical media, like you do have that forever for the most part, unless they shut down servers and stuff on their end or whatever, if it's an online experience. But with the digital world, like really they're just acting on what's always been there. They just weren't able to do before. Like EULAs have been around forever. It's just, obviously you can't shut down. You can't, Mr. Square Enix isn't going to show up at your house and snap your Final Fantasy VII disc in half or something, like, sorry, we're revoking your license.
Right.
but at the same time, like, yeah, it's unfortunate and it sucks, but that is the way it always has been. It's just now they're able to actually act on it now that we're going more digital. So it's an unfortunate side effect of the digital age.
But it's reality, and I have to make my choices within the reality that I'm presented. As far as this gaming landscape is concerned, and I chose the convenience of going digital. So if stuff disappears, I have to be okay with it. I mean, I have to be okay with it in so much as I understand how things work. Right. I'm not okay with it philosophically. I don't like the fact that my things are being taken away. It sucks because I did pay for access to it. But I also have to understand that that's how these companies work, and licenses can be revoked because rights need to be renewed, or they don't get renewed, or X, Y, or Z, So, and I think that's just part of the risk with interacting with these companies who choose to do business like this. So yeah, obviously, like if you care about that thing, then go physical. Go physical.
They can't. Well, again, if you're going more retro, then go physical. Obviously, even if you go physical, like if I went out and bought a PS5 disc, unfortunately, even those half the time are just a key. Like you still have to download the game from the server. So, but anything like pre PS4, you can go physical and you're fine.
I would say anything PS2 era on back, you can go physical for. Because even some PS3 games were downloads, stuff you had to download with it too.
Yeah, not as much though. Like even Metal Gear Solid 4 is all on disc. That's why I had 2 discs, right? Like I had the installation disc and then the game disc that you played off of.
The coolest install disc of all time. Yes, of course I remember that install disc.
Just watching Solid Snake for like 5 hours, smoke a cigarette while the game installed.
And that super duper PS3 rendered graphic, man.
Oh man. Uncle Gamer
didn't say a word the whole install either, just kept smoking the same cigarette. Right. So cool.
Uncle Gamer in the chat over on YouTube says, screw digital, physical for life. Yeah, I mean,
hey,
if you can, I get it. More power to you. He asked if there's a state of play. Yes, there was. We finished talking about it just a little bit ago, so you'll have to catch that earlier on or later on. You can catch that earlier
scrub back.
episode. Scrub back. Oh yeah, I guess on YouTube you can scrub live streams. Twitch you can't, but if you're on YouTube, you can scrub back there. All right. So that's that for that news story. It's just silly. California law makes change. It's like, that's what's new.
California law states obvious.
Grass is green, sky is blue, and digital games aren't owned by you. Do you like that rhyme I just said there? That was off the top of my head.
Man, a man of culture.
A master poet over here. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.